The Galactic Council had made what they believed was a death sentence wrapped in diplomatic protocol. Sarafax, the Dragon Empress of Peerless Prime, stood at the center of her obsidian throne room, her scales shimmering like molten ruby beneath the twin suns' light. She was a creature of legend, 30 meters of pure devastation, with claws that had torn through battleships and breath that could glass entire cities. The council representatives trembled as they presented their gift. A human infant, the Zentari ambassador croaked, his 6 eyes blinking nervously. As a token of goodwill between our species. What the council didn't know, what they couldn't have known, was that they had just made the most catastrophic miscalculation in galactic history. The bundle stirred, and a tiny hand emerged from the thermal blankets. Kevin, barely 3 months old, cooed softly. Sarafax lowered her massive head, her golden eyes each larger than the child himself, studying the fragile creature. The ambassadors held their breath, waiting for the inevitable. The Dragon Empress was known for her ruthlessness, her complete intolerance for weakness. Surely, she would incinerate this pathetic offering where it lay. Instead, something ancient stirred within her, something that transcended species and star systems. She exhaled gently, a warm breath that smelled of cinnamon and smoke, and Kevin laughed. "Leave us," Sarafax commanded, her voice a symphony of grinding stones and distant thunder. The delegates fled. Mia Rodriguez had been the infant's designated caretaker, a young xenobiologist who had volunteered for what everyone assumed was a suicide mission. She had watched from the shadows as the impossible unfolded before her eyes. Now, as the throne room emptied, she stepped forward cautiously. "Great Empress," Mia began, her voice steady despite her pounding heart. "I am to remain as the child's primary caregiver. Per the councils, you will teach me." Sarafax interrupted, carefully, impossibly carefully lifting Kevin with one massive claw. The infant giggled, reaching for the glittering scales. "Teach me what this small one needs." Mia blinked. "You want to care for him." The Dragon Empress's eyes flashed dangerously. "Do I appear uncertain to you, human?" "No, Empress. I'll help however I can." The weeks that followed rewrote everything the galaxy thought it knew about dragons. Sarafax's volcanic lair, once a fortress of terror, transformed into something unprecedented. She had her engineers install climate-controlled chambers. She learned to regulate her body temperature, creating warm nooks in her scales where Kevin could sleep safely. She even, to the horror of her military commanders, reduced the ambient temperature of her throne room by 300 degrees. Mia watched in amazement as the Empress mastered the delicate art of holding a bottle, her talons capable of piercing starship hulls, now cradling the infant with impossible gentleness. When Kevin cried at night, it was Sarafax's low, rumbling purr that soothed him back to sleep. "He is so fragile," the Empress mused one evening, as Kevin dozed against her chest, using her scales as a pillow. "How did your species survive long enough to reach the stars?" Mia smiled, checking Kevin's vitals on her datapad. "We're tougher than we look, Empress. Stubborn, too." "Yes," Sarafax agreed, her tone softening. "I am beginning to understand this." The Council's plan had been transparent in its cruelty. They believed that by forcing the Dragon Empress to confront a helpless human infant, she would eliminate it, thus providing justification for sanctions, perhaps even military intervention against Peerless Prime. Humanity, the newest and weakest council member, would be the sacrificial pawn that brought down the dragons. They had catastrophically misunderstood both species. When the Zentari fleet arrived 3 months later to retrieve the child and assess his well-being, their communique had claimed they found Peerless Prime's orbital defenses at full readiness. Sarafax herself emerged from the atmosphere, Kevin secured in a specially designed harness against her chest, Mia riding between her shoulder blades. "You will not have him," the Dragon Empress declared across all channels, her voice carrying the weight of absolute conviction. "This child is under my protection." "He is my son," the fleet commander sputtered. "Empress, you cannot seriously. I have claimed him. By the ancient laws of dragonkind, he is my hatchling. Any who threaten him threaten the entire Dragon Empire." Her scales began to glow with building heat. Do you wish to test my resolve? Behind her, every dragon on Peerless Prime took flight. Armada of winged devastation that blotted out the stars. The Zentari fleet retreated. Kevin was 2 years old when the truth of what had happened finally propagated through galactic society. The Council had tried to murder a child, the dragons had protected him, and now, humanity had the most powerful military ally in known space. But that wasn't the story that captivated billions across thousands of worlds. It was the images. Kevin taking his first steps while holding onto Sarafax's claw. The Empress teaching him to speak in both English and Draconic simultaneously. Mia and Sarafax working together. Human science and dragon wisdom combining to give one small boy the best of two civilizations. Why did you protect him? Mia asked one night as they watched Kevin sleep in his specially crafted cradle of woven titanium and silk. Sarafax was quiet for a long moment, her massive form surrounding them both in a protective circle. When I first saw him, so small and helpless, I felt something I had not experienced in centuries. Fear, not of him, but for him. Her golden eyes reflected the starlight. In my long life, I have destroyed countless enemies, but I had forgotten what it meant to create, to nurture, to love. She extended one claw, gently adjusting Kevin's blanket. He reminded me that strength is not merely the ability to destroy. True strength is the capacity to protect what is precious and fragile. Your species understands this instinctively. Perhaps that is why you will survive long after empires like the Zentari crumble to dust. Mia felt tears on her cheeks. He's lucky to have you as his mother. No, Sarafax rumbled softly. I am the fortunate one. This small human taught me something the galaxy had forgotten, that family is not defined by blood or species, but by choice and love. In his sleep, Kevin smiled, dreaming of flying through stars on wings of ruby fire. While two mothers, one human, one dragon kept watch over the child who had united worlds, the Council had tried to create a tragedy. Instead, they had sparked a revolution, and at its center was one simple, devastating truth. Never underestimate what a mother will do for her child, regardless of what form she takes.